Hey, thanks for watching today. This video is going to cover the news for multiple tax investing markets over the last couple weeks. We're going to talk about some new auctions. We've had quite a few states announce new auctions coming in. We'll talk about some auction seasons coming to a close and then some year-round auctions and over-the-counter news. Remember, if you like to see deep dives into separate markets, like if you want to see a video on Texas or the Indiana Fall Treasurer sales, we do have those on this channel. They're going to be located next to this video and in the channel feed. So check those out if you want to get really deep into a market. This video is trying to go wide and show you a glimpse into what's important in each market this month. So again, just a chance to go through a lot of markets really fast in this video. Feel free to dig in deeper on some of our videos that go into more exhaustive detail. So without any more preamble, let's go ahead and get started and talk about our tax investing news. So since our last video on Parcel Fair, we've added 18,655 properties. 10,000 of those roughly were tax liens, 7,600 roughly tax deeds, 768 foreclosures, and 109 land bank properties were added. If we break that down by state, we're going to talk about the foreclosures first. Florida had the most with over 400, followed by Colorado, and then the long tail here with North Carolina. Indiana and South Carolina had fewer for a total of 768. Moving on to the over-the-counter ads. These are properties you can buy over-the-counter, either deeds or liens. Alabama had 337, Maryland 317, and then we have Arkansas had just about 200, just underneath that in the last couple weeks. Arizona, Mississippi, Florida, and Tennessee had just a handful of kind of random additions added to their OTCs recently. And lastly, let's talk about the tax auctions and the properties added for auction. Indiana had the most with 5,552. Pennsylvania close second, 5,381. New Jersey was just shy of 4,000. Florida about 1,200. And then we go into quite a few other states that had 100 or two: Texas, Ohio, Mississippi, North Carolina, and then so forth and so on. I won't read it all to you. Missouri had one property, so we'll stop there. 16,944 auction properties added. Those would be liens or deeds. Some foreclosures in the mix there. Just anything that went to auction is included in that count. So while we're talking about auctions, let's talk about our calendar. We have currently this year we've tracked 7,899 auctions just in 2024. They are changing and added daily. And right now, we have 1,435 of those auctions are upcoming. If you watch this video on this channel regularly, you've seen this calendar grow. I keep saying, and we're going to have to split this into two calendars, but I was able to squeeze in Pennsylvania this week just to kind of get it in our radar here. It's going to be a regular fixture on the site, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. The September-October timeframe I have highlighted in red, so now you can go top to bottom in these cells that are highlighted in red. So right now, Indiana, you can see we are just starting off their fall treasure sales that sell tax liens. And moving down the page, the next seasonal market, you can see Arkansas, we're in the final month. Michigan, the final month. Pennsylvania, we're in September, which is when most of those tax deed upset sales happen. But there's also other deeds available year-round in Pennsylvania we'll talk about in a few minutes. We're getting really close to South Carolina announcements. Usually the first auctions we see in South Carolina are at the end of September. I did notice it looks like everything we've seen so far date-wise looks like they're going to be in October. But we'll leave it on here as it is because we should have auctions popping up, at least for you to research very soon. Colorado staggered just a little bit behind South Carolina with their tax lien season. And then everything else you see here is either in the off-season in the gray, or they have year-round seasons. Like if we keep moving down the page, New Jersey has tax lien auctions year-round, so you see all throughout the year these auctions will be showing up. So let's go move on and let's talk about a Parcel Fair milestone that we hit this week. I won't take long, just need to toot our horn for a second here because we're excited to announce that we've tracked over 2 million properties and written 2 million reports through Parcel Fair. That's a lot of properties over the years and over the different states that we've been able to report on and give you a chance to search for those in our map search or list them out or check them out at auction over the counter. If you ever were just curious to see how it breaks out by state, this is a funny picture here. Alabama was our first state, but it does not have the most properties over the years. Actually, Florida does. So Florida is the state that has the most properties in our system, followed by Alabama and then Mississippi. So it's no surprise to me because we've tracked those three states for years, and they are all states that you might call hybrid or offer liens and deeds. So every year, Florida and Alabama and Mississippi put out hundreds of thousands of tax liens to auction, and then some of those graduate into over-the-counters or graduate into deeds as well. So those three states do represent a large portion of our tax properties tracked. Moving on down, Arizona, New Jersey, and then on to some of the states. I was surprised to see Arkansas kind of low, but it's only tax deeds, so I guess it makes sense that you're only going to see properties that are further gone into their tax foreclosure. And then we couldn't fit all the states on here, so this just goes through the, I guess, the top 10 or 12 there. I'm not really sure. But you can see, you'll see a lot of these states growing as we track them for years to come. So just a moment to show you that distribution of where the properties are in our system, and just to share that news with you that we've tracked over 2 million properties now. Moving to our first market, let's talk about Michigan, who are in their tax deed auction season. 102 auctions have completed, and 5 of their regular tax deed auctions remain. I said regular tax deed auction because we now have reoffer sales announced for a second round, and there are 16 counties that we have found so far. We do have a video on Michigan if you want to go deeper into Michigan, but let's show you the calendar. And you can see a lot of these auctions happened in August, 96 to be exact, and then 27 more in September. That's because the reoffers are included here, so that's why. But we have, after today, there's only 5 more auctions of the regular variety, starting right here on September 5th and moving through September 19th. And then you hit the reoffer sales. These are the leftovers. So far, 16 counties that we have here. I anticipate there'll probably be more. You'll notice these auctions are pretty small, between 1 and 3 properties per auction. So it's not, and the likelihood is that these are going to be on that tax sale info website that Michigan likes to use. So let me actually we'll just go view one of these, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is a property being reoffered. If we click the purchase options, this will take us on a link to open up the tax sale info website. And so if we go to the, let's see, I think it's on the upcoming auctions. We're going to scroll past all the completed ones and get to the reoffers. Let's see. I don't see the reoffers here. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's the past auctions here. The reoffers are all on the same day on September 26th and are probably going to be offered as one big auction, just because this site does a good job of simplifying and consolidating. So I think it's going to be one auction given the number of properties are so few. So that gives you an idea of the reoffers and what's remaining in the Michigan tax deed auction season. So let's move on. Let's talk about Pennsylvania. I'm excited about Pennsylvania for many reasons, so let's just take them one at a time. We have the annual upset sales. Don't get confused. These are not the same upset sales that you might see in markets like North Carolina, where you upset a bidder and outbid them. This is what they call their annual tax deed auctions, and they take place for the most part in September. And right now we have 7 large sales for you to look at on our website that we'll go over in a minute. But I want to talk about what's available beyond this, because they have tax deed auctions. Again, the tax deed upset sales are one type. They're seasonal and they will wrap up soon for the year. But they have sheriff sales that happen year-round per month, sometimes multiple times per month in a county. We have started adding those on several counties, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep adding more counties because we see good opportunity here. And we also see repository sales and over-the-counter deeds. Those are going to be coming soon along with sheriff sales, and this is maybe called a roadmap for where we're tracking Pennsylvania. We plan to keep adding Pennsylvania and going deeper into this market because we see a lot of potential and upside for investors. That's how we choose our markets. That's how we decide how deep we go and how far to pursue these. Is if we see opportunity, we try to bring it to you. So if you have county requests, if you have a sheriff sale or even an upset sale that's scheduled for this year that we don't have yet, we go by the county requests in a lot of cases to build out a state. So just send them over and we'll be happy to take a look. Let's check out Pennsylvania on the auction calendar. We had some 2 sheriff sales in August, but let's look at September. Another sheriff sale tomorrow. And then you'll notice these tax deed upset sales, these are pretty big. Like a lot of these started off with hundreds more properties than what you see now. And this is, of course, after redemptions, they've dwindled to right before the auction happens to these numbers. So we have a Chester auction on September 9th with about 500 properties, and then a Beaver with over 1,000, Berks with 635, and moving on down, some of these have quite a few properties in them. Dauphin at the end of the month, September 25th, has 1,607 parcels. So we see a lot of opportunity. You really should pay attention to this market if you're a tax deed purchaser and have any familiarity with the state of Pennsylvania. Also notice that some of these auctions are in person and some of these auctions are online. This indicated on our auction calendar now. We just added that a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I think you should really pay attention to Pennsylvania. We're going to be adding a lot. You're going to be hearing a lot about it in our videos. So this is an exciting market that we're going to keep digging into deeper for you. Our next market to talk about is Indiana, because they have a fall season of treasurer sales coming up where they sell tax liens. And they've actually already started. So there are 71 auctions currently advertised just for this season. We still expect a few more to be added. We've seen a couple announced that don't have properties yet, so you might see some of the smaller counties still adding properties. We just issued and released a new video last week that takes a deep dive into this market. Now this video is going to talk about why the fall treasurer sales are different than the spring commissioner sales. What are you buying, how to bid on it, where you can find the auctions, and how to research the properties. It really it takes a good 22 minutes or so and just goes in depth to get you started in this market. Indiana, from success stories from our users, is one of the markets where they are getting the most wins. There's a large supply of property, the laws are tax investor friendly, and they're able to get properties. Don't be fooled, these are tax liens, but the redemption is much shorter than many states. So you have actually a shorter window before foreclosing. It's actually less than a year, no matter which sale you buy from. So you can really do a lot with these tax liens in Indiana. They also have foreclosure auctions in Indiana that we track. They're sometimes called sheriff sales on our site, so don't be confused, but either way, these are just leftover either foreclosures from mortgages or foreclosures from taxes. We have 50 of those scheduled for September, and then already have 19 in October on the calendar. So let's show you those. Let's start off. What I like to do is filter. So we'll start with the foreclosures in the top right, foreclosures only. And now you can see those 50 auctions here on the calendar. You can view them on the map or view them as a list. It's your choice. And that's how you would view the foreclosures. We can also go filter. Let's go to, I'm going to go to rolling and then tax auctions only. So you see the 45 auctions in September that we're tracking. These are the tax lien auctions. They're much larger. You have 10,000 in Lake County coming up, 414 in Jennings. So these county sales are going to be much bigger than those foreclosure sales because you're buying tax liens, and naturally there's just a lot more of them. So yeah, that's how you could browse through the season. You have a mix of online and a mix of in-person auctions, as indicated here. So that helps you plan. If you can't travel to the state, then you're going to want to view the online auctions. And moving into October, you see 24 more to round out the season there. And remember, the season actually started in August, so let's go to the top. Some auctions there that passed as well. So that's your not your deep dive, that's your quick hit on Indiana. If you want the deep dive, check out the other video on our channel from last week. It should be the top video behind this one. And just a side note, we almost have 100 videos on this channel. Just consider it free training. It doesn't go as in-depth as like a coach would, but it really should give you enough to look at a market, decide if you want to invest there, and see if you want to learn more, or to rule it out altogether and say that market is not for me. That's the point of these videos, is to help you get a primer and get your feet wet. Moving on to New Jersey, this is kind of a cool one. Just the last 24 hours, we've seen 10 auctions advertised, and there are already 14 scheduled this month. So what I want to call out to you is a little throwback to last year. This is the distribution of auctions from January to December of last year. Some months there were just 1 or 2, and then you can see around June we call out that there were 12, a little bit of a spike in June. Then September we were excited to have 10, and then in October we hit 85. And so October through December were almost all of the auctions happened in those 3 months. And so looking at 2024, you see very similar numbers. June as a benchmark there has 11 this year, 12 last year. September, 14 this year, 10 last year. But you see this October, already we have 10 auctions advertised for October, and last year there were 85. So I anticipate this is the peak of the New Jersey season is right here. If you're a tax lien buyer, or if you have interest in New Jersey, this is an excellent time to get acquainted with the market, understand the rules, and get registered for some of these sales, because there are going to be a lot of tax liens moving in the next 3 months. So that's we'll give you a look at the calendar too. I expect this to grow quite a bit. Here's the 14 auctions announced for September so far. We might see more in September. Notice that these auctions are all over the place in their size. Some of them have 50 properties. Some of them have up to almost 1,000. I think if we go to October, one of these auctions had, Franklin, 930 parcels. The reason there's so many auctions and there's not many counties is that these auctions are tracked at the municipality or the township level. So a single county will have multiple auctions tracked by that city, municipality, township, whatever it may be. That's why there are so many auctions, and there's way more than there are counties. So New Jersey is heating up. You should be prepared and ready to hear more about that in the coming weeks. Arkansas, we are at the tail end of the season. There were 24 counties with auctions remaining. We will continue to track those, and we track the over-the-counter deeds. Quick breakdown. The last quarter of 2023, 1,600 were added, tax deeds that were left over. This year is very quiet. Only 164 were reported or advertised from January through July. So 7 months of just 164. And then in August, we doubled that in 1 month, more than double, with 361 tax deeds added. So that over-the-counter inventory is getting replenished. The reason is, as auctions complete throughout the summer and into the fall, the leftovers naturally show up about 30 days later and are advertised as leftovers. So we expect a lot more to be added to that over-the-counter inventory as the season starts to wrap up here. Just to tell you a little bit more about that, those are year-round available purchases. You can buy them from the Commissioner of State Lands. We have links on our website to all those properties and reports on those properties. And the way they liquidate their over-the-counter is they actually sell little miniature auctions where it's an auction per property. And I'll just show you really quick what that looks like. Let's open up the Parcel Fair map. We haven't done that in this video yet. And let's go to Arkansas. And we'll just... let's just view all counties for now. I am going to go to over the counter only. I have a filter for that in my inventory filter. And let's just see everything available over the counter. I'm just going to go to the first one right here, viewing it on the map. It's a ditch. We'll at least get you one that's a landlocked property here. So maybe not the best property to buy, but actually there's a driveway next to it here, so not totally landlocked. Anyways, this is an over-the-counter leftover from 2024 in Arkansas, Lincoln County, so that went to the auction this year and was not purchased. You can, if you want to check out more about it, we have the research links on the right. We'll go to the property assessor site. It will take you to the different places where you can see more. Even the property card, if you want to see Arkansas's property card giving you more detail about this property right there. So back to our site. What you would do is click on the purchase option right here, the apply online button, and this gives you instructions on how to place the bid if we go to the Arkansas website. This is that specific property's auction page. It's one auction per property is the best way to think of it. You can see that the auction has not started, and you can place the bid to start the auction right here. You can the starting bid is $879. You can place that bid and watch the auction go. I recommend not watching too closely, but set a reminder on your calendar to come back at the end and decide if you still want to place bids. I hate to see people bid these things up in the first few days and then somebody gets stuck with it. It's maybe better if you don't watch. Don't get attached to the property either, because you may not win it. But there are a lot of properties in Arkansas to buy that way, and that is how you would find them using the map search. And we do have other Arkansas videos on this channel if you want to learn more about the laws. It's a great deed state where there's no redemption, so people tend to like shopping there. Mississippi, their fall auction season is complete. It started on August 26th, and not a lot, but several counties carried over this week into a second week of auctions, just trying to get the last few properties bid on. And so we did cover that a few weeks ago in a video that shows you everything about the auction if you want to go back and learn anything about those fall auctions. But let's switch gears and talk about the over-the-counters. Right now, there are 6,611 available. These are with the Mississippi Tax Forfeited Lands Department, and you can view them on our website and buy them from Mississippi. We had 63 added in August. I'll show you how to view those on the map. If we click on Mississippi, and let's filter by over-the-counter again, and let's go ahead and zoom out here so the map can load up. I'll just click on the first one, find on map. There we go. So this is the property. It's a 2017 tax deed, and you can click on the big green button. This is the most important button because it takes you to the site to buy it. Mississippi has a few steps to their instructions to apply, so make sure you read these carefully and then continue to the application page here, and that will help you. These instructions are key in helping you find and locate the property on that site and apply to it. Now, when you apply to it, you're basically asking the state to give you a price. Give me a quote on a price so I know how much to pay you for this foreclosed tax deed property. So we do have other videos about Mississippi. If you want more information on this channel, there are free videos available. Maryland, just really a quick announcement that the auction season is complete with that Baltimore County auction, that it closes out the season unless a last-minute auction pops up of leftovers. We anticipate only over-the-counter updates the rest of the year. We did have a 2024 tax lien auction season video if you wanted to get a recap of what was available. And if you are buying over-the-counter in Maryland, we do have photo and video scouting services on our website, so you can engage those as you see fit if you need to get a picture or video of a property. Tennessee, we have an auction season. It does last all year. It's 12% interest, penalty interest on a one-year redemption deed. That penalty interest means you get 12% regardless of when they redeem throughout the year. There's not a lot upcoming. The Davidson auction got canceled again, and September 9th we have a nice little Montgomery auction. I think there's about 100 properties in that. And then over the counter we have the Shelby Land Bank in Memphis. Whoops, too fast. And that's a great way to buy some properties outside of the auctions if you don't want to participate. Just show you the auction calendar for Tennessee. We have some auctions announced for later. August we had 7 auctions. That was a nice little feed. But Montgomery, we have upcoming 127 parcels. Davidson got canceled. And then October, we have another Davidson auction coming up. That's Nashville. We'll see if they release the properties or not. A lot of times they cancel because they announce them so far out. I guess that's why they do that. If you want to look way into the future, into 2025, we also have Shelby has a tax deed auction in January. In fact, I think there's 2 2025 auctions already on the calendar for Shelby and 1 for Davidson. So we're already into next year with Tennessee. Next up is New Mexico. A similar story here. There's only 1 auction on the calendar. It was actually announced today. We do have a video covering New Mexico if you want to learn in depth what's going on there and how to buy. Right now, let's go to 2024, and you can see that 1 deed auction coming up with 88 parcels on October 1st. Louisiana, we moved it up in the stack this week just because there's actually a tax lien auction currently available. I have not gotten much feedback from you guys about how you're doing in Louisiana, so I honestly don't know if anyone's buying there, if they're having luck, what our wins or losses look like. So I'm cautious about recommending Louisiana. I'm just going to say there's a tax lien auction coming up, and then there's other auctions that are hosted by Civic Source. They're kind of like that Arkansas thing I showed you where they're pending auction waiting on that first bid. The difference is you have to place the deposit to get the first bid in Louisiana. And I just would stress you read and understand the rules and know what you're buying. It's a very unique state. Louisiana's laws are literally just written differently. They just come from a different place, it seems like. So the Louisiana over-the-counter properties, the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority is now available on the site if you want to see over-the-counters. As far as the auction calendar goes, it's going to look pretty, well, if we look at the tax liens only, you can see we're down to one sale this month. But if we switch back and look at all auctions, you'll see a nice supply of other auctions going on as well. So a lot of auctions in flight you can go take a look at and bid on. Texas, one of our most exciting new states. I moved it down on the list because we just yesterday had the September auction for all the counties. Next month's auction is going to land on October 1st. So quick turnaround there. We're going to have tax deeds being purchased at auction. They call them different things. You might see judicial sale, sheriff sale, constable sale, and then in some cases we even have some struck off properties and pending auctions you can look at. We're tracking over 90 counties. We have the next 40 counties planned to add this month. So you'll see another jump in properties for Texas on the calendar. I would stress that you understand that not every county has properties to auction each month. So sometimes you're going to see a county that we have, but there's nothing at auction. It's only properties that are pending or struck off. So when we say we have 90 counties or more, that doesn't mean 90 auctions every month yet. It's just only whoever's auctioning. There are more auctions on the way for sure for October. And we do have a video out that talks about how Texas tax investing works. It's a great video to get that primer to understand and get you a knowledge base to get started. So let's peek at October's schedule for Texas, because September, again, all of the auctions were yesterday, so we're just going to close that out. And here are the auctions for October that you can access already, and there will be more probably as early as tomorrow. As they're getting released, they will be added. North Carolina has a steady stream of in-person tax foreclosure auctions and regular foreclosures. We did 311 of those auctions in August, 150 so far tracked in September. That is including the upset tax sales, so don't think these numbers are inflated. It's actually, you have the auctions and the upset auctions. So we track those on the calendar since they are date-driven. We already have 48 more auctions scheduled in October. We do have a deep dive from North Carolina if you want to get into that. We have that. It's called an intro video, but it really does go pretty deep. And just to circle back and explain what I just said, there are 3 types of auction properties on our site. If you are on the map search, you might run across things that are pending auctions that are not scheduled yet. You won't see those on the calendar because they're not scheduled yet. We do have scheduled auctions, which you will see on the calendar, and the upset bids, which you will see on the calendar, because upset bids have a date associated with them. So on the auction calendar from North Carolina, if you see the word upset bid in the auction name, it's because this is an upset bid. It came out of another auction, and there's now a chance to upset the winning bidder by putting in a bid that is higher. So when you don't see the word upset bid in the auction, it's just a regular old tax foreclosure auction like these. So that's, I think, self-explanatory. A lot of auctions to look at. They're all very small. Some of them one property, some smaller. And moving into October, you can see even more auctions coming up. For Ohio, similar type of schedule. They're available throughout the year, and they're tax deed foreclosure auctions. We have 60 of those scheduled right now for September, and 20 more already in preview for October. We have a video that will walk you through how to invest in Ohio and get started, but let's look at the calendar in the meantime. So here's the 60 auctions coming up. You'll see they're actually kind of small, but there actually are really good properties in these auctions. You should check them out. Let's just list out the properties in this one, and you can see total valuations. These are solid properties, values in the $200,000, $100,000 range. Let's just go take a peek at one. If you wanted to bid on this property, you would follow the upcoming auction button here under the purchase options and follow the registration link, the sale information link, and the auction list. Those all take you to important places that can help you actually bid on these properties before the auction takes place. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about Alabama. We usually have a lot to say about Alabama. I will try to keep it brief. It's just one of those states where we have deep roots and a lot of information. So if you were following our Facebook channel the last couple of weeks, you got a quick announcement within minutes of when the Montgomery over-the-counter properties were released. That would have given you the advantage to go get first in line to apply for a price quote. I saw a lot of the people get those price quotes. I'm excited that our users were able to get the jump on it before anybody that doesn't use our website. I want to always try to give you an advantage whenever we can get the news to you first and faster than anybody else. So yeah, those are still pretty new if you want to go through those Montgomery over-the-counters and try to apply for some. We always have new over-the-counters and resellers coming in. Properties that those markets are in flux year-round. We have actually quite a few videos talking about Alabama, but this time of year, the Alabama off-season investing video is your best bet because it's going to cover how do you buy when you're not in the tax auction season. And our usual calendar here. You have the first little band there are the auctions available. The second band are the OTCs, and then the last one is like the land banks and resellers. So we are here in the off season in September. So while there are properties being added over the counter, there are also resellers and land banks to shop with. We'll take a little side trip over here, and I want to show you on Parcel Fair. There's this report that you probably don't know about. It's called the Over-the-Counter Inventory History Report. Anywhere on the site, when you see this black bar at the top, there's some tools in here that you may not know about. The OTC Inventory History is the one I'm on right now. I'm looking at Alabama, and this is showing, well, there's 3 new parcels in September already that were added. That was fast. We're only a few days in. But what I actually want to show you is go back and click the green bar for August and show you that there were 922 over-the-counter additions in August. These are the properties that literally showed up in some form or fashion as over-the-counter. A mixture of Montgomery, Jefferson, and Mobile is kind of the most part, I believe. Let's also, if you want to filter, I could go to this county drop-down box and say Jefferson, Birmingham only. Now I'm looking at just, well, I'm in September again. Let's go back to August. So in August, there were 568 added. We've seen this fluctuation in Jefferson, Birmingham, where properties leave inventory, then get added back. Sometimes that resets the queue so you can get an application in. But if you want to use this screen, you can sort by this total value column if that helps. See the best property price-wise or value-wise up top. And then if you wanted to apply, you would click on the green button and follow these steps to go apply with Alabama. And if you wanted to switch over and see what was added in Montgomery, just select Montgomery. And now that you see the 259 properties that were added so far. And again, these are the ones that people got the jump on over the last couple weeks, but you might still be able to get a pretty early spot in line if you want to get in line for an application. So let's talk about Florida and the year-round auctions. The seasonal 2024 tax lien auctions are finished. We even had a little Palm Beach supplemental tax sale that completed last week. And so county held over-the-counter liens are available. Lots of those, tens of thousands of those. But if you want to shop auctions, there are actually all year. We have tax deed auctions, 69 scheduled for September, 56 already in October. More to come on those. Those numbers always tend to float up. Foreclosure auctions are also all year. There's already 304 scheduled in September, already 231 in October. And then there are more over the counter. Tax liens and tax deeds over the counter. Everything you can imagine to buy in Florida, there's something, it seems like. Let's go to our auction calendar. We'll check out Florida. It's going to have the most auctions of any state. It takes it a few seconds to paint that onto the screen here. So if we want to filter to tax deed auctions only, let's do that in the top filter right here. And what that's going to do is get rid of a lot of the noise and show us just the tax deed auctions, which is what a lot of people want to see anyways. There's 69 of those scheduled right now. Most, if not all of them, are online, I believe. And this is how you can scroll through and see just the upcoming slate of auctions. Moving into October, and one thing that's kind of fun about Florida is I believe we stretch all the way into December. So even New Year's Eve, there's an auction already scheduled. So Florida has a nice lead time on these announcements in certain counties. And back at the top, if you want to see the foreclosures, you can filter by just that. Those also go all the way out through December already. Moving on to Virginia, there are 4 auctions coming up in short orders. King Williams will be this week, and then later in the month, New Kent, and then 2 auctions for Rockbridge. We do have a photo video scouting service available in Virginia, and you should check out our Virginia tax deed auction intro video if you want to learn enough to decide if that market is worth working in or not. That's on this channel as well. Colorado's fall auction season ended a year ago, so we are expecting the new one very soon. Some of the dates have been announced, but not the properties. Meanwhile, there are OTC liens. You can buy those direct from the counties, and foreclosure auctions as well. 13 of those foreclosure auctions happening in September, 16 more in October. So far, probably more getting scheduled. There will be, again, a lot of tax lien auctions announced soon, but in the meantime, you can check out our off-season investing video for Colorado. South Carolina is even closer. We have this fall tax lien auction season looming. It's coming very soon. We already have some dates, but not properties yet. So we do have foreclosures available right now on Parcel to check out, and a video that talks about the tax lien auctions is actually from last season, but the same investing rules and bidding rules will hold true for this year as well. So check that video out on this channel if you want to get ready for the auction season. Arizona, we're deep into the over-the-counter season, and we did add over 20,000 OTC liens, over 7,000 already sold, probably more by now. And so Arizona, we're basically in kind of the quiet part of the year, but we'll keep track of these over-the-counters for you if you want to see what they remove properties. A lot of these counties remove them every week. Some of them remove them once a month, so we do track those inventories. And then Missouri, Iowa, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Utah, we have an off-season. There are over-the-counters in some of these, and in Missouri we'll have some third sales. We just don't have them on the site yet. So I'd love to hear, if you're trying to invest in Missouri, I'd love to hear more about what you're doing now that some of those auctions have completed. If there's interest and demand, we would love to get some of these post-third sales, all these other things that they have that may spill out past the season. And we are periodically adding OTCs for these states, but there's just not been a ton of interest in that, and frankly, there's not a ton of supply either. These states don't have a lot going on compared to a lot of the other ones we talked about. But send us OTC requests. I'd love to take a look at counties or states that you think that there's a pocket of OTCs we can add, and we'll pull it in for you. So that concludes everything we wanted to talk about today. Please subscribe to this channel if you want to get videos like this and be notified when they come out and be the first one to see them. We try to put valuable news in here that's timely so you can get the jump on auctions and over-the-counter announcements. And like this video if you like it, because it helps our channel, helps us keep putting videos out. And of course, if you want to talk with us, we love getting a dialogue started. So just jump on the YouTube comments or the contact form on our website, parcelfair.com, and we'll get that discussion going. So I think that covers everything. Have a great week.